The art form, born on the streets of the Bronx in the 1970s.
Breakdancing has become an official Olympic event, the first dance sport to appear at the Global Games.
The discipline would simply be known as breaking.
It really has to do with who you have judging in terms of who's going to win.
Finally getting its due.
I do enjoy what I do.
A great cultural moment for a lot of us.
Yeah, the growth of it is just wild.
It's being appreciated.
I have to say, this sounds like fun.
Oh, yeah.
So breaking is basically, I see it as a community, to be honest.
Well, it's really called breaking. That's the like gender neutral term, and it's called b-boying. And if you're a girl and you do it, you're a b-girl. So you can call it b-girling, or you can call it b-boying.
Of course, it's movement, it's expression. I think community and family is number one for a lot of people.
Well, I say I'm a b-girl. What I do is I break, and I do the b-boy style of dance.
Shiro, power, anger, sours. Recognize the game through my flame as I tower.
But that's more showing like how I view it. It's more of a little bit of subjective lens in terms of how people view the dance and their association to it. The time frame that I'm from, many of us look at it as a philosophy as well. So if you say you're a b-girl or a b-boy, it means that you're a part of hip-hop culture. And it means that the values of hip-hop culture are your values, and it means that you do the art form of breaking, which is one of the elements of hip-hop culture.
And finally, breakdancers could be competing for Olympic gold medals in the 2024 Summer Games in Paris.
Hey, James, it's good to see you, brother.
Our community, in a sense, is small. Like, we have little jams like we just had with Asia One, where it's just a few people, but then there's jams like Freestyle Session and Rebel BC1, and although those are big, they're still not known to the average person. When it does come out into the Olympics and people see like these kids, in a sense, because they're so young, that have been working so hard to get to this position, I think it's gonna be a mind-blown reaction, because it's gonna be like, where did this kind of come from? Like a lot of people relate it to back in the day with Crazy Legs, and like how it grew into like being in movies and little things like that. But it's gonna be like, wow, kids are still doing this, and how much it has grown from what it was before. And the B-Girls are just top level now. Like B-Girl Jilou, she's training. B-Girl Kate, she's with Red Bull. Just phenomenal, and the growth of it is just wild.
3, 2, 1.
Whenever I'm approached to spin for an event of breaking, I'm such a prepper. I like to prepare, just to be ready if anything happens. For instance, this last jam that I just did, we were supposed to have a B-Girl battle, so that's one-on-ones, but then it ended up being a 7 to Smoke.
The first battle was the B-Girl battle, and we did something that's called the 7 to Smoke format.
7 to Smoke is just kind of music just keeps going.
The way it works is that it's whoever wins 6 battles is the one who wins. So that's how that worked out. And you go against a person, and then whoever wins that round stays on the floor, and then the other person comes up, and it just keeps going like that.
It was like, okay, good thing I prepped, because now I have a format to follow. But I do read the crowd. I do see who's there, who's in attendance, and kind of what people like, you know? It's very helpful because I was part of the scene. I first started breaking here in California. I started dancing with the Battle Monkeys, their crew out in the Inland Empire. I started just practicing with them, but I wasn't really into it as much until I made the move to New York. I really started getting really deep. I ended up getting down with Brooklyn Zoo crew. So that's my crew right now, Brooklyn Zoo. Along the way, I met my husband, who's also in the crew, and I was gifted my name. So I went by B-Girl TiffStarr.
When it comes to like what people are being judged on when they enter something like a battle or competition, it really has to do with who you have judging in terms of who's going to win.
I guess if everybody's ready, we'll just do the countdown. Let's do the countdown together. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Because there's certain people that their emphasis is way more on the foundational aspects of the dance, like the building blocks and what people do with that. And then there's some people that are just judging on maybe who's doing what they quantify in their mind as harder moves or more technically difficult moves. Then there's judges who look at it all together. And those are usually your best judges because they're looking at the whole well-roundedness of the dance, like the battle element, the musicality, obviously the footwork, the top rocks, the power moves, all of that. They're kind of just rolling it all together and really see, well, who really did better? Like who performed better and who battled better.
Give it up, all right. Well, let's look at the judges. Beautiful B-Girls, so fine, so fresh. Let's go, here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, give it up to Mizuki. I think that's it.
I'm Mizuki Green. I'm so happy for sure, but I cannot imagine I won the battle today, even now. I started from hip hop and then now I'm focused on B-Girl. I cannot imagine and I was so surprised my body is moving.
We like to create an atmosphere that speaks to hip hop cultures. Our organization is called No Easy Props. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, and our mission is to preserve and proliferate hip hop culture for community benefit and proactive youth development. It's really beautiful to be in community with each other. We want to lift the community up. We want to provide for people. We want them to have a great time and not put the emphasis just on the competition. We want to make sure that we have time to hear from people, to talk to people. We like to provide food and water for people. So we'll have like graffiti art available. You know, we try to make it where people can actually experience hip hop culture rather than just feeling like, okay, I'm just gonna go to this event because I want to be in this battle, and if I lose, I'm gonna leave, right? This is kind of something they're like, oh, I could stay because I could go eat right here, or I could like go do some art over here and I can just talk to my homies over here. We try to think about the general public too that doesn't break, that comes to our events as well, so that they can feel like, hey, I belong here too, I have a place here. I think the takeaway is people feel like, wow, that was a really cool experience and I felt nurtured there. Our organization, No Easy Props, has recently become a member of the Artists for Healing and Justice Network. It's a network of about, I think it's 13 to 15 organizations that use the arts to help people, especially people of color, especially youth experiencing incarceration, adults experiencing incarceration. The healing and justice part is really, that's kind of work we've always been involved in. At some of our first initial meetings, getting to know Jason, getting to know Luke, and getting and realizing like, wow, this CAPO space is perfect. It's rare that somebody would be like, yeah, well, you can utilize it.
This room here was just like the front room.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Jail Guitar Doors is a nonprofit organization that provides instruments for music programs in prisons, juvenile halls, parks and recs and across the nation. Word of mouth that was getting around. So we were not just dealing with justice-involved youth anymore. We were dealing with their friends and from the neighborhoods who by word of mouth were like, hey, I'd like to go in the studio. And so we started thinking, well, why are we only taking this opportunity to the youth or the adults after they've made the worst mistake of their life? What if we got upstream and got this to the kids in the parks and rec centers and out the public? So we begin to look at our programs inside as really just an introduction, a way to build a relationship, to build trust. And then we realized we needed a bigger studio. So that's where we're at right now at the CAPO Center, which is Community Arts Programming and Outreach.
It's for the network. It's for our purpose. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to help our communities. We're trying to help them heal. We're trying to offer them places where they can be nurtured. It's been a joy to actually connect with Jail Guitar Doors and the CAPO Center. It really is. It's a total joy. I think we're like a perfect fit for one another.
Almost to a man, every young man that I've worked with that is inside incarcerated for using a gun, it told me the first time that they ever used a gun was to get something to eat. There's so many talented kids in these areas that just don't have access to resources or aren't even aware of what they can do with their creativity, right? They're not even aware that there are avenues. 1 in 6 jobs in Los Angeles is somehow linked to the entertainment business.
So Asia, when I met her, through the scene, through the community, when I moved back to LA, to be honest, she gave me a chance. Like, she seen me at another jam, spinning a local jam, and she gave me a chance to be one of the first female DJs for B-Girl Summit, which is with B-Boy Summit from back in the day, but she had just started the collab with B-Girl Summit, adding it to the summit. She gave me the chance. From there, she's just always giving me opportunities for different events that she does. When she asked me to do this jam, of course, that helping the community and being down for it.
It sound right, boy.
Being a woman in the scene, it's tough. It's tough in a sense of being the only woman in the room and having to find your voice and find the courage to get out in the cypher or to just simply be there. As you know, it's a male-dominated scene, so it was hard. And when you did see another B-girl, you would gravitate towards them because you'd be like, we're on the same level, we're on the same playing field. Obviously there's the pioneers before me, like Asia One.
I think the barriers that exist are that B-girls are a minority to B-boys, which are the majority. So we tend to be an afterthought in terms of us as a population. We could be newer to it, so we don't have like the amount of years and training and practice and technique that some of the B-boys have. Really what we see now is that this is a dance that is relatively subjective. Well, it is subjective because it's an art form, and because it's an art form, everybody's going to do it differently. We're doing the same dance, right? We're all breaking. And I think what's important for us as a community that we're trying to move towards is that women that do this shouldn't get a lower rate than a man who does this, even if we're a minority, because we're doing the same dance. So we're doing the same thing, so we should get paid the same rate. And so in the battles and the competitions, we should have the same cash prize. We shouldn't have a lower value because there's less of us entering the battle. And I think that's just something now people are really starting to realize, hey, yeah, actually, that's incorrect to assume that. It makes it maybe more challenging for the promoters that want to think about it like that as a monetary thing, but we kind of need to cross that bridge and realize, like, hey, if we don't bring the equity here with this, then it's going to deter women from wanting to do this.
I feel like when people know I'm on the roster, I'm on the flyer, that I'm going to bring a type of energy.
Man, the best part is it's just such a fun dance to do, and it's always challenging because the music's always going to be a little different. Your body's always going to be feeling a little different, and the floor you're dancing on is always going to be a little different. And you have to make those three things work together in order to do what you're doing. And so it's not really about an age. It's more about growing through all of those experiences each time you dance. And that's why it's so fun. Like, that's why people still do it into their, 50s now, because it's just a really enjoyable thing to do.
It's just wild now, like the growth of the B-Girl scene.
My husband's a breakdancer.
No.
And he's pretty good. Breck, you know.
I had no
Jeff is a
idea.
Be them, be themselves. You already made it to this point being you. Like, yeah.